This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Holy Hydrogen. Okay, guys, let's be real. We all try our best to stay hydrated, right? But not all water is created equal. That's where Holy Hydrogen comes in. They've got this awesome device called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition, and it takes clean water to the next level by infusing it with molecular energy. That means you're not just drinking water. You're giving your body extra support with every sip. Better energy, less inflammation, and a real boost to your immune system. So try the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition today by going to shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran for $100 off your purchase. Again, that's shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout. Stay hydrated and stay healthy. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran. What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are having a good fall so far. We're getting into the colder weather now. Cold season, flu season, all that stuff. So, you guys know the drills. Take precaution. Have your Flintstone vitamins, whatever it is, to keep you healthy and all that. So we have tickets still on sale for Fractured Festivities, our next theatrical production. So those are on Eventbrite. You'll be able to find them on there. Anyone who's local, feel free to come on down and check it out because, we've been working really, really hard on it, and we're proud. We're proud of how far it's come along. So that's that little plug for that. I was going to give the plugs for what we're doing here. Not really much else to talk about. I normally like to ramble for a little bit about what's going on here in the community, but there's always lots going on. But you guys in the area know what's going on and keep up to date on Facebook and all that. So anyways, I'll stop rambling and because there's not really much else to ramble about. And so let's just move right on to the guest today. Very excited about our guest. He's a really, really talented man, CJ Shaman. CJ, he's an emerging artist hailing from Vegas. And his newest released El Diablo De Ocho, which means the Devil of Eight, is available now on all streaming platforms. And he's got lots of years of experience. He's risen to a height of talent and charisma, which harkens all the way back to the heydays of the rock and roll's glory years, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Great conversation with him. Thank you to CJ for coming on. We talk about a lot of different things. Later in the show, I want to give my thoughts on when are we going to see Rick return to The Walking Dead, because we have some news, finally some news about when that could be. And then I also want to give my thoughts on the new Simpsons movie. We're getting a new Simpsons movie all these years later. I just want to give my thoughts on that. And so anyways, guys, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by a artist coming to us all the way from Las Vegas. Crazy. He's done a lot of amazing things. His newest release, El Diablo De Ocho. Is that how you pronounce it? Ocho?
El Diablo De Ocho.
De Ocho, there we go. Perfect. The Devil of Eight, you can catch that on YouTube and wherever else you listen to your music and stuff. Very excited to have him on here. Spotify, all that good stuff. Very excited to have him on here today. CJ Shaman. CJ, what's going on, man?
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here, and I'm doing pretty good. It's Friday, so we're almost to the weekend, so nothing to be mad about there.
Yes, exactly. That's the best. When you're an artist and a singer and stuff, how would you compare it to like a regular job? Because it's not like a typical like 9 to 5. How would you kind of compare the two different styles of working, I guess you could say?
Oh wow, yeah, definitely. I mean, I always set off not to have a normal job, so I'm crushing it in that area. But I've definitely had normal jobs in the past. But the thing that make can actually make it difficult sometime when you're an artist is sometimes there can be some lulls where you don't have the opportunity to create and do what you specifically want to do each and every day. Like if you had a normal job, you know what you're going to do each day. You wake up, you have your tasks and your schedule to complete. So as an artist, it's definitely more on the fly and more spontaneous. And honestly, as exciting and as cool as it is, it can definitely be boring sometimes when you're creative like myself and you have to have just a normal day of not doing what you want to do. So that can actually be rough sometimes. But to keep the mind calm when you have so much, going on in yours like I do. So I would say basically that the difference is that if you have a normal job, that you kind of just know what you need to do, and if you don't, it's each day is kind of a mystery.
And life is kind of exciting in that way. When you wake up and you don't know what you're going to get yourself into, that can have its perks. But it's definitely one of the industries that you really got to know what you're getting yourself into. And you've had great success here. I mean, first off, you are originally from northern Arizona. Now you're based in Las Vegas. How would living in both of those places kind of shaped you into the artist that you are now?
Oh, that's a great question. So yeah, I'm from Prescott, Arizona, and Arizona is like probably my favorite place in the world. I grew up there and, I'm well versed in the whole entire region, did a lot of, traveling around the whole state as a child with my family. My mother and father took us on road trips, like to see all the big sights of Arizona ever since I was a kid, the Grand Canyon, Sedona, the Painted Desert, Phoenix, Tucson, like Flagstaff, like so Arizona is definitely like the womb of my existence, and I feel very comfortable there. And coming to Las Vegas is has been a test. It's been a challenge. So the biggest difference I would say in the two and how it shaped me is Arizona is my comfort zone. So coming to Vegas definitely challenged me out of my comfort zone, and it's a hard place to have success. It's a hard place to make your way. And of course, it's Sin City, it's Babylon. I'm right here on the front steps of Babylon, and this place can chew you up and spit you out and leave you for dead out in the middle of the deserts if you don't be careful. So I think that's why God brought me here is to challenge me and to make me a stronger person and to see what I'm really made of. And it has definitely forced me to get up off my ass and really commit to this or else what are my options like there aren't any. So I definitely felt like coming here definitely pushed me to make it or break it mode for sure. So I guess that's how I'd explain that.
Yeah, and it's good to kind of get both experiences, like um you want to see the world. You want to sometimes you don't want to just find yourself stuck in one place. You want to go, okay, I want to go perform in this country and I want to perform in that country. It's one thing to say I want to perform in my own, hometown for a while, but I mean after a certain point you're kind of like I've done everything I can here. What else can I do? And so for some people that are able to take the step and step out of their comfort zone and really go for it. That takes it. It does take guts. It really does take guts to do that. And it's great to see just how good you've done in the industry. Just one second. I just gotta go let my dog out. He's barking at somebody. I'll be back. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
right on, no problem.
Drive me nuts here. One second. No, they're so sorry about that. He had a toy out of the house that he wanted, and I said, "Fuck." Sorry for that.
Oh, oh, no worries, man. I got a crazy house too, full of pets, cats, ducks, and grandmas. So there's always something silly going on in my place. So I don't feel bad about that at all.
I'm sorry. Did you say ducks?
Yeah, I have a pet duck.
What? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
isn't that wild? Yeah, I have a daughter, and she's almost 17 now. But when she was about 7 years old, we went down to the local feed store and bought a pair of little duckies for her to raise. And unfortunately, her sister passed away a couple years ago, but this other one's been going strong. In human years, she's in her early hundreds. She's like 11 or 12 years old. So, but she's still going strong, and I don't think she's ever gonna leave us, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, a pet duck. I've honest to God, I don't think, and aside from people who live on a farm, I don't think I've ever met somebody who's had a pet duck.
Yeah, people are always pretty blown away. She's a city duck for sure. She's an urban puddle duck. Like we live next to an elementary school, and so close that our neighborhood gets bombarded like in the morning and in the afternoon when everyone comes to drop their kids off and pick them up and things like that. And we'll kind of hang outside in the front yard with the ducks sometimes, and people will walk by and be all, "What in the? Is that a duck?" And be like, "Yeah, check it out." And they're like, "Wow, that's so cool. You just have like a duck out in your yard." And it's like, "Yeah." And yeah, she's a blast though. She's really tame. She's my little princess. She follows me around everywhere she goes. Like they're very like what's the word? Like she was partnered up with her sister there for, almost a decade, and when she lost her sister, she was kind of beside herself. So I'm her new best friend. Like I'm her boyfriend. She follows me around everywhere I go, and as long as I'm there, she's content. If not, she gets a little fussy.
Oh my God, that is so cool. That is actually
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's pretty
God,
neat, huh?
that's really cool. And you don't live on a farm. You're a city duck, or your duck is a city duck. You say, right?
Yep, yep, she's a city duck.
That's awesome. That really, really
Yeah.
is. And you have how many pets do you have, you say?
So we have two cats in the duck, and then a beta fish.
And a beta fish. Oh my.
Yep.
So no dog. So you don't have the crazy dog who's always barking when you're trying to relax.
No, yeah, totally. And I love dogs, and I grew up on a farm with like lots of big outside dogs. So I love dogs, but as an adult, to keep a dog, like it's a big commitment. It's like a child, and with a lifestyle that both my wife and I lead. Like she's a model and travels a lot, and I do this, so it would be hard to take care of a dog. And at this point in our life, we haven't set down our roots to buy our home, our forever home. So we've always rented, and usually, especially here in Vegas, there's not a lot of dog pet friendly places to rent, and the ones that you do, you tend to go check the place out, and it's kind of ripped to shreds, and it's not anywhere you want to stay anyway. So never had a dog here for the past 20 years or so, but here in a few, when I buy some property in a home, I'd like to get a couple of like Akitas or German Shepherds or something cool like that, some retrievers or something, some fun outside dogs that like to party and play and have fun.
That's my retirement plan. I want to move out in the middle of nowhere and breed and raise golden doodles. That's the kind of dog I have. It's the best dog breed. I would never go back. That is the type. That's my retirement plan. I've already planned it out. Who knows when I'm going to retire? Maybe I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and go. I'm good. But no, years to go. And so yeah, like that's really, and it's always interesting to hear from different perspectives as an artist where, like you say, you rent homes and properties and stuff. I mean, it's probably hard for you because you're traveling a lot, right? Like that's probably where the difficulties of it comes, is that you're always on the road. Your wife's a model. And so is that really what kind of made you guys go, let's just not buy our forever home until we, get things settled? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just recently made a trip to Nashville a few weeks ago, my first trip to Nashville, Tennessee ever. And obviously, as a musician, it's been a lifelong goal of mine to go there and record. And finally was able to achieve that opportunity to go record with a very prominent producer there in Nashville, Dean Miller, who's actually the son of Roger Miller, a very legendary songwriter and performer from Nashville. And so that was like a dream come true. And dude, being in Nashville was like, I was like, dude, this is where I want to live. Like, it's just so amazing there. And the second I'm able to. Definitely gonna buy a spot in Nashville and probably a spot in my hometown in Prescott, Arizona as well. And yeah, like I haven't seen enough of the world or accomplished what I've wanted to accomplish to know exactly where I want to live and what home I want to have. And, being an artist who's on the rise and hasn't quite made that payday yet, like I never wanted to buy a house that wasn't my like dream house, you know what I mean? So when I buy a house, it's gonna be my fucking dream house, you know what I mean? So we're getting close to that hopefully here soon. And so I'll be able to go all out and get the home that's always been meant for me, instead of having to settle for something like, earlier when you didn't have the funds or the resources to really go all out.
But you're smart in that way. Like you're smart where you're not going to just buy a property, blah, 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 and then you move away. Like you buy the property, stay in it for a year, and then move away. Like it's because I've heard of some people that do that, and it just kind of, it creates problems, and it's just financially, it's not really smart. You know what I mean? Like if you're just buying and selling. Oh, okay, that's not bad. But I mean, like you understand what I mean? Where if that's not where if you're buying a house, that means you're staying. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
you're at least staying
absolutely.
in there until your mortgage is paid.
Absolutely. You really have to settle down your roots and that's where you're going to be. And I've just never been ready to accept those terms yet. I'm still a wild stallion out there roaming the range and the prairie. So it's going to be a little bit before we totally settle down.
Oh yes. Well, I mean, take your time. Take your time for sure. I mean, like it's definitely one of those things. Are you the type of person who tries their best not to rush into things, but sometimes can't or find themselves still trying to rush through things? Like people just say, I need to do this, I need to get a house, I need to have kids, and all of this certain amount in this certain time frame. Were you ever like that you needed to check all these boxes off within like a 5 year span?
Oh no, never. I'm like kind of the opposite of that. Like I'm so kind of carefree and spontaneous and flaky in that way. Like I I never had like a plan with life. I've always defied structure and order. You know what I mean? I grew up in a religious family and having to sit at church or having to go to school and sit at a desk and have structure and cross off boxes has never been my ideal way of living at all. I'm a guy who needs to be wild and free, and at any moment, if I get a whim, I wanna act on it if I can. You know what I'm saying? I can be I can be impulsive sometimes, which can sometimes get you into trouble, but it can also make amazing experiences happen in your life. So, you know, this is a long journey for me. Like, I'm in my 40s and, I take really good care of myself and I eat healthy and I work out and I don't drink or do drugs. So people always think I'm about 10 or so years younger than I am. And I kind of embody that vibe also, my inner child. Like I try to keep my inner child at the forefront of my life so that I can enjoy life to its fullest. But I've never tried to check any boxes or really have a plan. My wife and I are high school sweethearts, and we got together very early in life, so we've kind of grown up together and really been on this adventure together, just trying to figure out, how we can make this dream come true. And there's been plenty of times where I've given up on the dream, like on the surface, where internally, obviously, it's still burning inside me. But, I've tried to stop and become a normal person here and there just based on logistics and how long it can take sometimes and it's a path, it's a journey, you get held up sometimes and you take some wrong turns and you get bogged down. But at the end of the day, this is my destiny. And in these past couple years, I've really been able to just like hone in and focus and really understand what my purpose is and try to align with that. And, just realize that nothing's going to stop me. And I have a unique, special path and it's not anyone else's path. And sure, I would have liked to have made it and have success years ago, but that's not the path that I'm on. I'm on a different path, and I'm gathering up, life experiences and armors and potions to go slay this dragon out there, man. And so that's how I kind of look at it.
Go slay that dragon.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's good, man. Like that's really, really good. And uh it's truly I always talk about this with people about pursuing the arts is that it's one that you really have to know what you're getting into. You really have to be careful about. I mean, like you kind of said too about almost like being almost too assertive can get you in trouble sometimes. You kind of got to
Yeah.
find that balance. So when you were getting into the industry, being a music fan and stuff like that. I mean, much like everybody, everybody's a music fan. Did
Yeah.
you ever worry about pursuing it professionally because you didn't want it to interfere with your love for it, or how did you kind of approach that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I, from a very young age, always wanted the spotlight for some reason. Maybe it's because I come from a big family, and I'm the second youngest. I'm the youngest boy. I have one younger sister, but me and her were kind of the babies. And, I'm 45. My oldest sibling is my oldest sister, and she's almost 60 years old. My brother is 10 years older than me. So I had siblings that were already grown adults and out, like, with their own children when I was still at home with my family, like a young kid. So even though I come from a big family, I kind of grew up with just like not all my siblings at home, but they already had kids. So my parents were already grandparents. So they were already kind of in that mode of like, we're grandparents and we want to hang out with our grandkids. So me being in that, I guess psychologically, I maybe felt like some neglect or abandonment, but I guess as a teenager, I used it to my own benefit because I kind of got away with murder because my parents were distracted. You know what I mean? So I guess I can't say I didn't enjoy it, but I think psychologically I felt maybe unseen because I had so many siblings and so many grandchildren and things like that to fight for attention. So naturally, though, I've always wanted to be in the spotlight. I've always wanted to be famous. I always wanted to be a movie star or a rock star or something like that, and I can't really understand why. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I'm naturally kind of a shy person, and most people might think like, when I first got into this, people kind of questioned like, yeah, you're like pretty quiet and shy. Why are you trying to be like a musician and a rock star? Like that doesn't fit your persona. It's like, well, you don't actually really know me, and there's more than one side to me. Like in certain situations, I might be quiet and reserved, but in other situations, I'm literally like the ringleader and I freaking like, in the center of attention. So it just depends on the atmosphere, I guess. But I never really walked into this trying to hold any kind of like sacredness to like, oh, I love music so much that if I pursue it and I don't make it, will it kind of ruin my love for music in this way? That is a great question. And sometimes there has been times in my life where I've had some down moments where I felt like I wasn't headed in the right direction. And it can be hard to listen to music in those times. There's been months in my life where I've gone months without listening to music at all. And basically coming from a place of kind of just being depressed and yeah, like guys out there doing what I want to do. And it kind of makes you a little bit jealous or salty, like, so yeah, I guess there is a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, like I grew up with a lot of friends who were musicians in my hometown, and we were always in bands and doing stuff. But for some reason, I was the only ambitious one who wanted to like take it to another level and try to be professional and try to reach the limelight. And a lot of those guys were kind of turned off by me wanting to do that, and I think deep down they kind of wanted to pursue those things as well, but they just didn't quite have that kind of like big personality and belief that like, hey man, like those guys that we look up to and that we kind of want to be like, they were just normal dudes just like us at one point. They kind of came from that belief system of like, I can't do that, like I'm just like, I'm not special like them or whatever. And I just always believe that, hey, everybody's special and we all should be going for our dreams.
The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience? Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corkin Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corkin Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. Yeah, no, and that's it. It's kind of funny that you mention that you stopped listening to music. And the funny part about music is that it's literally everywhere you go. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're
Yeah.
like, I'm just not going to listen to music that, just pretend it doesn't exist. And then you turn on the car and the radio turns on and there's music playing. Or you walk into a mall and there's music playing. Like, the thing with music is that it's literally everywhere. Like, sometimes you're like, you cannot stop listening to music. And so I
Yeah,
find it
that's very
really,
true.
I find it kind of interesting that, you getting to the point that you're like, I just need to stop listening to music. Like, how did you kind of, how were you able to step away in a world where it's literally everywhere we go?
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's certain things where it's like, you walk in the grocery store, a song's playing, like you said, you walk in the mall, or, if I'm riding in the car, I can obviously shut my radio off or turn it down or whatever. So I have that power. But yeah, like in the public setting, it's more so like the music that I listen to, like, my playlist, my albums, my things like that. It's mostly about putting those things aside just because they're inspiring and they remind you that why you got started and all of this to begin with. So as an artist, whenever I've struggled and felt like in a dark place, it's just kind of like you kind of want to punish yourself and not allow yourself to be inspired, because music is very inspiring and that's the whole point. And then when you kind of, you know, buck up a little and buckle those bootstraps and put your chin up and stay in the fight, you turn on your music and then it inspires you again. And you're like, yeah, dude, like actually music is what's going to save me. Music is what's going to take me out of this depression. Music is going to re-inspire me to keep doing this. And maybe it's just that I need new music to listen to, a new artist to inspire me. And I've definitely in the past 5 to 10 years let myself become inspired by new artists. Like I'm kind of like one of these guys that's like very loyal to like the bands that I like from my teenage years, kind of thing, because that's what first got me into this game in the first place. And you stay kind of loyal to a fault to certain stuff where you're kind of closed-minded about, oh, back in my day, that's when music was good and all the music now is crap and stuff like that. Or I'm not going to listen to that. I don't like that style of music. But I've opened myself up so much in the past decade to just being open to so much, and it's changed my perception, and it's changed my own style of making music, and it's opened me up to just realize that, like, a lot of my youth and people in my youth and in my past kind of held me back and kind of had this influence on me where I thought I needed to like kind of stay more in a lane, and I've realized that there is no lane for me at all, and that I'm like a free agent. It's like I'm a day walker. I can work in any genre of music. I can write in any genre of music. I enjoy all genres of music, and to put any type of cap or limitation on what kind of music I can work with, I think was a detriment to myself. And once I allowed myself and opened myself up to being free to enjoy all styles of music and be inspired by them, it definitely turned a corner for me, and it improved my performing, my writing, my, all of those things. So that's definitely been and my daughter, who's young and a teenager, she's definitely opened me up to showing me things that I never would have, really cared about unless she introduced me to them. And me having such a respect for her and what she's into allowed me to be like, wow, you know what, this really is really cool. And like, I'm actually like a legit fan of it now. So it's been an eye-opening experience being a father, that's for sure.
And how about like podcasting? Because that's a great way I find too. If you're not listening to music, turn on a podcast. Are you big into those? I mean, hell, we're doing one right now.
Oh yeah, totally. And man, there are so many great podcasts
So
out there
many.
that sometimes it's overwhelming to be like, well, man, like I would just not accomplish anything in life if I just got to listen to all the podcasts I want to listen to. You know what I mean? But I definitely enjoy Theo Vaughn's podcast. Like he's very hilarious and very relatable, and usually has very interesting guests ranging from all across the board. So he's probably the main one I listen to, and obviously Joe Rogan is a very popular podcast. I've listened to his a little bit, and then there's a few here and there that basically I enjoy comedy, more comedy podcasts where it's comedians just kind of sitting down and going through random topics and news of the day and things like that, and just sort of chattering about it. Like I enjoy that for sure.
It's so funny that you mentioned Theo Vaughn because he is the type of podcaster that it's insane his variety of guests. Like literally, I swear to God, this was one week. It was last year. He had Donald Trump on, and then the
Yeah.
very next episode, he had a lunch lady on.
Oh yeah, dude, the
I'm
lunch
like,
lady
dude,
episode was hilarious.
that is insane. I'm just like, oh my God. Like he's the type of podcaster that he can have literally anybody he wants. And he chooses to shine a light on the people who aren't as famous, or some of them aren't even famous, or some of them that you don't even know that he's just shining lights on, shining a light on. And it's absolutely fantastic. And we in a world with so many podcasts too, like as you said, almost like everyone and their grandmother has a podcast
Yeah,
these days.
it's hilarious.
It's insane. And you've been on kind of a podcast tour now as well too. We were talking. You were on Jeff Macalino, who's
Yes.
a friend of our podcast. And any other podcasts that you've been on lately, or
Oh yeah. Honestly, I'm so bad with names, and I feel that's uh, I feel bad for not remembering all of them. But yeah, I've been on a few. Thanks to my dude, I have an awesome publicist, Juan,
the
and
best?
he's set me out on this journey of hooking me up with all these wonderful opportunities. So I want to shout out to him and thank him for all the hard work he's putting towards me and trying to elevate my career. But yeah, honestly, every podcast, I am not going to be able to remember all the names, but every podcast he's had me on so far has just been wonderful, wonderful experience. Everyone's so kind, nice, open, and I've had a blast with all of them, and they've varied in styles and questions and the atmosphere. So it's been really fun and allowed me to kind of hone in on these kind of cool little interviews and chats about things. And a big goal of mine is actually to be on the Theo Von podcast one day. So all this is practice for the big show. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. You're playing bars, and you're playing uh bingo halls, and then eventually you're going to work up to the big stadiums. That's kind of
Yeah,
how I
yeah,
view it.
exactly.
It's a great way to put it. And like you said, like Juan's a great lad. I mean, like it's great to have somebody in your corner who's just so opens up so many opportunities, because really you need someone who knows the industry. You need somebody who is able to get their nose in, their ears in, find out where all the opportunities are. Um, is it I know some people that they don't hire an agent. They always go through things by themselves. Is that a good idea to do that, to do those things by yourself? Or do you think it's better to get people who know what they're doing, who are better with connecting? Because there's some people who are terrific artists, they're terrific like filmmakers or actors, but they're not the greatest at communicating. So it's one of those situations of maybe it's best if you leave it to someone else to do it. How do you kind of view that?
Yeah, so Juan is my very first publicist. I've never had a manager. I've never had an agent or any of those things, and I definitely see the value in it. Like I love having Juan by my side. I'd love to have a manager. I'd love to have a booking agent, and those things are coming my way. But yeah, like it all depends on who you are. I think like I could do all these things, by myself, but it's nice, I don't have those connections, I don't have the connections to meet up with someone like you, so that's all on Juan. So, I like to be able to be at a point in my life where it's like, hey guys, I'm the artist, I'm the talent. You guys hook everything up and I'll show up. And I like to work like that. I've been so hands-on and so uh DIY my whole career that I'm really enjoying having, people do things for me and setting things up for me so I can focus you know, on what I do, which is show up and try to be this persona that people can relate to and get some entertainment from and get some insight from and hopefully enjoy the music and enjoy my presence and personality and things like that. So yeah, I would say definitely having a team of people to help you is the way to go. And artists who are lucky enough to have that, like definitely be grateful that you have that, because anytime you have other people working for you and believing in you, it just always is going to help. And even on a cellular level, just having a team of people knowing that they're working for you can just literally make you feel like, hey, like I'm professional now, and that can really boost your self-esteem and how you feel about things and give you that extra boost to be like, wow, I really am going places because I got people that believe in me and they're working for me and doing things for me. And sometimes you might feel like things aren't really going your way, and all you need is one person to step in and be like, hey, I got this opportunity for you and I thought of you, and I'm putting effort into you. And then you're like, wow, really? Well, I'll be goddamn. That's freaking awesome. And that can change your whole perspective, just something small like that.
No, exactly. I mentioned it to somebody. I think it was on a recent episode. When you see people who are working tirelessly for you or an idea that you had, like you pitch a TV show, next thing you know, what happens, and there's people working tirelessly to make it happen. There's part of you that almost goes, what's special about me and my idea that is making all these people do this? You know what I mean? Like your brain
Oh
kind of
yeah.
starts going in those directions. You're just like, I have someone who is working so hard to book me interviews and to get me the publicity and all this stuff, and you kind of just stop and think, why me of all people? You know?
Yeah, like all this for little old me. Wow, yeah, it's very soothing to the soul to have people believing in you and working for you. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. It really, really, it just makes everything better. You know
Yeah.
that you have people who are looking to you, and of course you got your family and your fans and everything. And it's great to see all the amazing stuff you've done. So tell us a little bit about your latest project here, El Diablo de Ocha, right? Ocha, I pronounced that right.
De Ocho, so it's just eight in Spanish. Ocho.
Ocho. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I'm terrible at name pronunciation, so I apologize for that.
Oh, no
Feel
worries.
free to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a very personal undertaking, this album. It's inspired by two friends of mine who I was very close with. One especially was my lifelong childhood best friend, and another one met later on in life, but was very close to. And they both passed away within a year of each other, and it was hard thing for me to get through. I'd never lost like a friend before. I'd lost, family members and grandparents, and I lost my mother, and all those things were hard, but they were easy to accept because it's the circle of life. If you have an older parent and they pass away, is it devastating? Sure, but you kind of understand, this is, they lived a good life. This is kind of what happens, and it's easier to be at peace with. But when somebody dies unexpectedly or takes their own life and they're still young and you feel like it shouldn't have been that way, it can be devastating. And so both those devastating losses definitely put me into a state of just kind of doom and gloom and just feeling hurt. And I was also in a place right at that moment in my career where I was feeling like things just weren't really working or happening, and there was a lot of just like stagnant energy, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do next as far as like what my next album was going to be. I was just sort of at a crossroads basically. And one day, I just decided, I was like, you know what? Like, I feel lost, and I have some demos and I have some stuff I've been working on, but nothing's really inspiring me to really want to get into the studio. So I was like, you know what? I want to write a song for my buddy Nick, and his nickname actually was El Diablo, and his nickname was El Diablo because he was very much into the dark arts and horror movies, and he was very much into like crystals and tarot cards, and had all this like great library of like books on the occult and things like that. But a very sweet guy, loved animals, like a total sweetheart, but just one of those guys who's like into dark shit, you know what I mean? And like devil shit and like all that kind of shit, but not in a way of like he's some devil worshiping like freak, but just someone who like that's his bag. He likes horror movies, and his house has filled with cool like kind of dark decorations and stuff. So me and another buddy were just one day started calling him El Diablo, and he really loved it, you could tell. And he was a guy who kind of struggled with some mental illness issues and some things like that. And he didn't really get the chance to live his life to its fullest as an adult. He was kind of had to he was someone who was didn't hold a job or things like that. He lived off of disability because he wasn't capable of holding a job and things like that due to some mental health issues that he struggled with. So I was kind of like someone that he always looked up to and always knew I had his back and would always be there to like get him out of the house and take him to do cool stuff so that he was living life. And so we had a cool connection in that way. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to write a song. And in the song El Diablo, literally couldn't have come out of me more easy. Like I probably wrote that song start to finish where I was happy with it and how it ended up on the album in like a half hour or something like that. And
It kind of just came from the heart.
yeah. So once I had that going, I was like, all right, well, that's definitely going to be on the new album. And then my best friend ever, Josh Lopez, his nickname was that, and he had a nickname too. He was nicknamed Cooter, and he got that nickname because we were all drunk in high school once, and there was this old like trucker hat on the ground, and he just put it on. And then at the same time, like someone like threw like an ashtray across the room, and somehow it like hit the wall, and like ashes like went all over his face. And he was like, "What the fuck, man?" And it was like trying to wipe it off. And so he had like black shit all of his over his face and like this trucker hat, and he had kind of this shaggy haircut. And we're like, "Dude, you fucking look like Cooter from Dukes of Hazzard." And for some stupid reason, like he just never got called his real name ever again after that. He was just Cooter. And he kind of took on this cool persona too. He was kind of a shy kid, and in him getting that nickname is what just broke him out of his shell and changed his whole life. And he was this character now, and it was pretty awesome, honestly. And so he passed away, and he was a splendid musician, like a guitar virtuoso. Like I'm talking, when this kid was like 14, he was playing Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Eric Clapton. Like he was a savant at guitar. But his thing that he liked doing was tattoos. Like he was probably the best guitar player I'm ever going to know in my life, and he could have gave a fuck about playing the guitar. He loved like drawing and doing graffiti and doing tattoos and shit like that. But I did convince him to start a band with me at some point, and we put out an album. And then the next album we were about to put out, he actually had to walk away. He was dealing with some mental health issues, and so he kind of had to walk away from the band, and like performing live and doing things like that just wasn't his cup of tea. So he walked away from that. So I had these great songs that I had written with him that just kind of got shelved. And so when he passed away, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take those songs that we wrote together, and I'm going to take them to my producer, and I'm going to bring these things to life for him. And I'm going to honor both my buddies on this album with the El Diablo song, which I wrote from the heart from my friend El Diablo, Nick. And then I'm going to use these songs that were going to go on my next album and my last band with my friend Josh. And so that's what the album is. It's a culmination of inspiration from those two friends that I lost, and I tried to embrace the darkness that I was feeling from their deaths, and the darkness that I felt, and they both died in very dark, vicious ways. One took his life, and the other OD'd on drugs, and those are two very dark ways to die for two such bright, beautiful people. And it just so I just embraced that darkness, and they were both really into dark music, like the Misfits and Danzig and heavy metal and Pantera and Metallica, and just like kind of like dark, heavy stuff that's not necessarily my style, but I do like it. But I wanted to create an album for them to enjoy, and it was inspired by them, and sort of my tribute to them and my final goodbye to them. So that's literally what the album is about. That's what it represents. There's a darkness to it. there's the devil's in there, and so I just the devil of the El Diablo De Ocho. There's 8 tracks on the album, so that's what it represents. These 8 songs are the devil of eight. They're these songs that represent my two friends who had to pass from this world kind of tragically, which created this dark feeling that I just wanted kind of to embrace and get through. I guess that's how I was able to come to terms with their death and heal from it, was making this album.
Speaking from the heart, man. That's great. The best
Yeah.
songs come from the heart. And not just the best songs, but the best books, the best movies, TV shows, plays. They all come from the heart. They really, really do. When
Oh,
you're able
absolutely.
to, like, you can tell even actors who are pouring their hearts into a scene that they're actually that there's some part of it that it actually is hitting home for them. Like if they're playing a scene where their mother in the movie is dying and they lost their mother, they kind of just relive that moments. They're acting from the heart. They're mourning their actual mom.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's that's where the best art comes from, is when it comes from the heart. And I'm really it's really nice to see what you're doing for your friends there. Really, it truly is, and just everything that you're doing, period, is fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you, brother.
And I just want to thank you, for taking the time to come on the show today to encourage us, to tell us your story. If you had to give maybe a piece of advice for somebody who, in your situation, you had people who were close to you who passed away, people who are maybe feeling down about what's going on in their life. They don't know what they're doing. What advice would you give to somebody who's listening who might be struggling with that?
Always look within. All the answers are always inside of you. And if you're afraid to call it God, call it universe, call it source, call it whatever you want, but try to find your connection to that. Try to find your childlike, innocent essence, and let that be your lighthouse. Let that be your guide, and you won't go wrong. Like, I think all of the world right now in these turbulent times we live in, all just need to look within, and it all starts from inside. The outside world, and this is, I'm not the person who invented this saying, but the outside world changes first by you changing your inside world. So I would just tell people to look within, and everyone has an inner strength to tap into that they may not think they have. And I'm the first person to say there's been plenty of times in my life where I thought I was as weak as a twig, but it turns out I'm pretty strong. And so my advice to everyone out there is that you're much stronger than you actually think, and have some faith in yourself, and look within and give yourself time to be quiet with yourself, and you'll get spiritual downloads. Sit under a tree in some peace and quiet for like an hour if you can, and you'll be amazed what that can do for your mental health and for how you see the world around you.
Wonderful, man. That's very, very well said. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for taking the time to come on again. I really appreciate it. And, best of luck, CJ, in all that you do. Where can people find you on social media, websites, all that stuff?
All right. Well, just look me up on Instagram at c.j.__ shaman. And that's my Instagram account. Just look up CJ Shaman on Spotify. You can look up the album El Diablo De Ocho on Spotify. Got a couple other albums up there and some old demo singles and stuff. You can dive into some old classic CJ Shaman, but I got 3 really nice albums on there. There's a lot more to come. Like I said, just got done recording in Nashville. I got a couple of hip hop collabs coming up with Drake and Post Malone that are going to be totally wild, that people are going to like flip out about it, how versatile your old boy CJ is. And go on YouTube and check out the video for El Diablo. It's a great video. It's got everything you want in a rock music video. It's got hot chicks and fire and smoke and guitar solos and all that good kind of stuff. And I wanted to thank you for having me on your show and taking the time to ask me some really great questions. And I really enjoyed our time. And if I'm not mistaken, it sounds like you might be from Canada, I assume.
It's so funny. Everybody says that. It's so funny. They're always able to tell right by my voice. They're like, "You're from Canada, right?" I just find that so funny. Yeah, I'm from Canada.
Oh yeah, dude, you're not going to be able to hide that accent, that's for sure.
Oh my God. I didn't think I had it. And then literally every guest I have, like, as soon as we get on the call, the first thing they say is Canadian, aren't you? I'm like, how did you know? And they're just like, I could tell.
Yeah,
I just find it
the
so funny.
dead giveaway is a boot,
A bit. That's
a
what
boot
someone
instead
else
of about
said.
a boot.
That's what somebody else said. Somebody I was talking to the other day. Oh my God, that's funny. I was just, as soon as you were kind of saying it, I'm like, he's gonna ask if I'm Canadian. He's gonna say I'm Canadian. Yes, he said it.
Yeah,
So,
totally. Well, yeah,
oh,
and
that's so
also
funny.
just your kind manners and demeanor too gives it away mixed with the accent. All Canadians usually just have that sort of down home kind of easygoing attitude and manners that are really enjoyable, I think.
We are super nice. I know people think that it's just for show, and they go, "Oh, that's just the stereotype." No, we are nice. We are nice
Oh no,
people. There are
no, it's
lots of
real.
dickheads out there, but I mean that comes with everybody.
Oh yeah, for the most part though, you guys got the kindness on lock.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, CJ, thanks for coming on, man. Guys, be sure to follow CJ on Spotify. You should be able to actually, guys, if you're listening to this on Spotify, there should be a tag for CJ at the bottom of this episode link, or just type in CJ Shaman, you'll find him on there. But guys, we're gonna take a short break. We will be right back. But until then, this is Franky and CJ signing off. Cheers, man.
Adios. Cheers, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cork and Entertainment Show. That was me and CJ Shaman. Thank you so much, CJ, for coming on. And guys, be sure to check out all the amazing things that CJ is doing, and including his latest single as well too. So thank you again, CJ, for coming on. I really appreciate it. So moving on with the podcast today for our solo segments. I want to talk a little bit about The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead. So currently in The Walking, yeah, because it's so funny. There's gonna be people going, "Wait, that's still on?" Yeah, it's still on, and I still watch it. I still keep up with it. So we are currently in the midst of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3. So far, it's a good season. So far, I'm liking it a lot better than season 2. Season 2 had a lot of troubles. Season 1 was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. And season 2 kind of just, the quality started to go down a little bit. There were just some decisions that were made and some pacing issues. But season 3 so far has been good. We still have a few episodes left to go. And then, of course, next year we're going to be getting the 4th and final season, which I think is good. I think it's a good thing. There were plans that they were maybe gonna just keep on going with the Daryl show, but for me, I was like, especially just seeing where they're going in season 3, I'm like, I just think it's just best if they bring Daryl and Carol home, or whatever they're gonna do. Maybe they'll kill them in Spain. I don't know, but just save them from constantly going to different countries and everything. Just wrap it up and give them some kind of a happy ending, or some sort of ending, whether it's happy or not, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to talk a little bit about what that happy ending could be, because we got some updates about Rick Grimes. Rick Grimes, of course, who is The Walking Dead. Some might argue that it's Rick Grimes. Rick Grimes really is, Andrew Lincoln as Rick. It's even in times in the show when the quality was kind of going down, the writing was off, the pacing was weird, especially during the All Out War storyline in season 8. Andrew Lincoln as Rick, he's the best. He really is. I think if there was a top 10 TV characters list, I would rank him in my top 5 easily. I would rank Rick in the top 5. Just a masterfully written character, and just fantastic. So of course, The Ones Who Live, which was the mini series to wrap up him and Michonne, their storylines, because Michonne had left too. So they did a 6 episode miniseries. There were whispers that it was going to be longer than 2 seasons, but from what I can tell, I think it's just the one. But who knows? Because we have word from Andrew Lincoln now about possibly more from Rick Grimes. Basically, he was doing an interview. He's in a new play, and it's great to see, by the way, what he's doing. I haven't seen his new show, Cold Water, I think it's called. It's like this new sci-fi horror series. It looks really, really good, and I want to check it out. I just think it's amazing that he was doing Walking Dead for so long, and I think it's great that he's just spreading his wings and he wants to do more stuff because he's a fantastic actor. I'd even love to see him in like a Marvel project, maybe like a DC superhero film, something like that. I just think the man is immensely talented, and I think he could, I genuinely think Andrew Lincoln is a Academy Award level actor. Truly, you see some of the performances he put on in The Walking Dead. I can't believe he never got nominated for an Emmy for it. And I think if he was it's in the works for him. I think he's gonna get his flowers eventually. And so he was talking about, someone asked him in the interview, he was talking about this play, and they asked him, would you ever go back to the Walking Dead? And he basically said yes, that there's conversations happening right now, actually, about how they're going to make that happen. And then they kind of just move on from it. They don't dwell on it. He just kind of says, we're talking about it right now. We're working on something. And then they kind of move on to talk about whatever the play was. So right there, everybody's taken that quote right there. Andrew Lincoln just said that there's already talks happening about Rick's return. They don't say if it's a Ones Who Live season 2. They don't say it's going to be another. Like they don't say nothing like that. They just say that they're working on something to bring Rick back in some way, shape, or form. And to me, that's exciting. That is really exciting because yes, the Ones Who Live. I mean, I say what you want about the ending. I think the ending could have been handled a lot better. It was just so rushed. But I think they checked off a lot of the boxes. We got Rick back home with his family. He's back in, the Alexandria Commonwealth, in that vicinity. But there are a few things missing because he hasn't seen Daryl yet. He hasn't seen Carol. He hasn't seen Maggie or Negan. But the fact that, and then also Norman Reedus has done an interview where he said that they're working on some sort of Daryl and Rick reunion. That's one of the biggest questions that they keep asking him is, are we going to see Rick and Daryl back together? And all he says is just, we're working on it. We're trying to figure something out. And now Andrew Lincoln himself has said there's talks about how we're going to bring Rick back. And that to me is super exciting because, so now, first off, the question stands. If we're getting Rick back, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a Once Who Live season 2? Or what's the scoop? For me, I think we should also, guys, temper our expectations because in my opinion, I think we're getting Rick back for the ending of Daryl Dixon. I think we're going to get that reunion at the end of Daryl Dixon because that's only next year, which is crazy to think about. Daryl Dixon's ending next year with season 4, and no word on if we are going to see Daryl and Carol again in the future, but I think that would be the perfect way to end their stories, is to have them reunited with Rick. And I think that's what they're planning because I think they are filming season 4 right now. I was looking that up and they are currently filming season 4. So I think those conversations, they're talking about probably getting him to Spain or getting him to wherever they're going to get him to have this reunion. And I think that's what it's going to be. I don't really see Rick doing a full series again. I could be wrong. Maybe they will. But for me, I'd be fine if we didn't see another full series. I think The Ones Who Live was a good way to wrap up his story, no matter how rushed the ending was. But to see him again, to see him in Daryl Dixon, to get that reunion with Daryl, because it's not just something the fans want to see. It's something that would kind of bring the story to a close because Daryl's out there in the world because he's looking for Rick. So in some way, shape, or form, whether, Rick sees him as a walker or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's not going to happen. I'm just spitballing here. But in some way, shape, or form, we got to see that part of the story resolve. So I think I think that's what we're going to see. I think we are going to see Daryl and Rick reunite in Daryl Dixon season 4. And I think that's what the conversations are about. I don't think it's going to be for anything else. Maybe we'll see him in Dead City for a Maggie Negan reunion, but even that is, I don't think that reunion is as important as the Daryl one, because like I said, Daryl literally, that's the reason why this whole show exists, is because Daryl went off to look for Rick and he got lost. So there'd be no better way to end the story, really. There'd be no better way to end Daryl Dixon. How they'll end Dead City, God only knows, but I just don't see Rick kind of fitting into that, because Maggie and Negan seem separate from all that now. They're off doing their own thing in New York. They're not even talking about going back. So, but Daryl is. That's literally the whole point. He got lost. Carol found him. Now they're trying to get back home, and they end up in bloody Spain. You know what I mean? So that's what I think it's going to be. Yes, it might be a little unfortunate that I mean, at least in my opinion, I have nothing to back this up. This is just purely me speculating. But I don't think we're going to see a full-fledged Rick Grimes season again, just for a Daryl or a Daryl and Rick reunion, and then I think that's it. And then I think they're going to close the chapter right there. Maybe do a couple cameos in Dead City or something like that, but that's about it. So my answer to that, I think we're going to see him at the end of Daryl Dixon, and that'll be it. So that's my thoughts. Definitely be sure to let me know your thoughts, though. When do you think we're going to see Rick again? Do you think he was bluffing about it? Do you think that he was just saying that just to get people to shut up, or he was just teasing people? I don't think so. I think, to me, it sounded legit. I believe it, and I kind of expected that's what was going to happen anyway, is that it would be in Daryl Dixon season 4, because they are ending it. Because I was going to say, if he's going to appear at the end of Daryl Dixon, my thought was, okay, they want Daryl Dixon to go on to like season 9. I think Scott Gimple or something like that said in an interview that they had they could do like 7 seasons of Daryl Dixon. And so I'm like, okay, if that's the case, they're not going to see Rick for another like 10 years. But in this case, because it's ending, we're closer to it now, which is good. So anyways, guys, be sure to let me know what you think about that. When are we going to see Rick again? That's my guess, Daryl Dixon season 4, but I'm curious to see what you guys all think. And so moving on to our last solo discussion topic today is going to be one that, if I'm being completely honest, this one caught me completely off guard. So it's been confirmed, it's been officially confirmed that, so the Simpsons movie, which came out in 2007, a classic for me. I love the Simpsons movie. I still remember watching that in theaters, which is insane. Maybe at that age, I was only, 8 years old, and I was allowed to go see it. So call me bad. I don't know, whatever it is. So I still remember seeing it. Love the Simpsons movie. I think I watched it again when I got Disney Plus a couple of years ago, and it's great. Simpsons movie is a classic to me, and I just adore that film. And so we were wondering, are we going to see another Simpsons movie? I know that they were kind of talking about maybe they would wait until The Simpsons is over, because from what I hear about the production is that they were trying to do the Simpsons TV show, keep that going, and do the movie at the same time, and it was just exhausting. It was a lot of work to do both. So my guess was, if they were going to do another one, they would wait until The Simpsons was over, or maybe do it as a finale to The Simpsons. Well, now we know that that's not the case, because this is why it kind of caught me off guard, because they've officially confirmed that we are getting a sequel to the Simpsons movie coming out in 2027. This is an article from Variety, which reads, "Dope! Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie will return to the big screen after a 20-year hiatus." Which I got to mention that too. In The Simpsons, it was in the movie, I think. Yeah, Bart's writing on the chalkboard in the intro. It says, "I will not wait 20 years to make another movie." Boom, 20 years later, they're making another movie. The first one came out in 2007. This one's coming out in 2027. So just how was that planned? I don't know. Maybe it was. But So a sequel to the Simpsons movie is officially in the works at Disney's 20th Century Fox and slated to release in theaters on July 23rd, 2027. The film has taken the place of an untitled Marvel project, which has been removed from the studio's schedule. In terms of Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe, there will no longer be a new comic book installment between Avengers Doomsday on December 8th, 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars on December 17th, 2027. So, of course, it shows the poster, and it shows Matt Groening is, of course, coming back for it. And it has Homer's coming back for seconds, and has Homer picking up a donut with 2 written all over it. Yeah, fantastic too. So yeah, like I said, the reason why this caught me off guard is because I anticipated that if we were going to get another Simpsons movie, it would be for the finale. They would use that as the final installment, because doing a movie, big feature film, and running the show at the same time is a lot of work. So as soon as I heard the announcement, I said, okay, maybe this is the finale of The Simpsons. Then the article goes on and it says it's already been renewed through its 40th season, which will air during 2028 and 2029. So it's not ending anytime soon. It's not ending anytime soon. So what are my thoughts on this? I think this is good. I think because, look, The Simpsons movie is a classic, and I think it's good that we're going to get more of it. Is it going to be up to the same quality as The Simpsons movie? We'll have to wait and see how that goes, because as we all know, The Simpsons quality hasn't been, it's been on kind of a, and it kind of started after The Simpsons movie. Which was in 2007. The Simpsons movie was when The Simpsons was at its peak, was when it was at its most popular. Nowadays, it's still getting the views. I mean, hell, as I said, they just renewed it up to season 40. So clearly it's still doing good enough that they want to do more, or that they can afford to do more. But now because Simpsons is at a point where, yes, as I said, it's still popular, but it's not at its peak like it was in 2007. Like, my God, I still remember the marketing campaign for the Simpsons movie was so freaking good. You go into Burger King and they had this amazing, the marketing was insane for the first Simpsons movie. And I still remember it clear as day, nearly 17, 18 years later when I was 8 years old. It's insane. And I used to love going to Burger King whenever the marketing and stuff was going on. It was a lot of fun. So I think they need to do a kick-ass marketing campaign for this one, much like the Simpsons movie. They got to really get people excited for this. The first one made almost $500 million. So is the second one going to make as much? If I had to guess, I'd say probably not. I'm going to guess no, but I very well could be wrong. I just don't see, because it was also, it came out in 2007 at a time where going to the theaters was big. This was way before the streaming came. So especially with streaming, and especially because The Simpsons, while still big, isn't as popular or as beloved as it is now. I think I see it being big. It's going to be a big movie no matter what. It's going to make money. It's going to be a hit. I just don't see it making more than the first one. Like, I'd say maybe 350 million, we'll say 400 million. We'll see how it goes. But either way, just my thoughts. I'm excited for this. I really am excited for this. Just because, the nostalgia factor, loving the first one so much. And will the second one be as good? Who cares? We're getting another Simpsons movie. I'm excited to see how it goes. Say what you want about the Simpsons. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get Albert Brooks back. He was such a standout in the Simpsons movie. He played the villain in the first Simpsons movie, Russ Cargill. Hopefully he's back for it. I don't know if he is. They never really said much about casting. I just think it'd be a lot of fun to bring him back. Maybe bring back Schwarzenegger as the president. It was not actually Schwarzenegger voicing him, but whoever voiced him, just bring that character back. He was a lot of fun. And Spider-Pig. Bring Spider-Pig back too. lots to live up to. Lots to live up to. We'll see how they can deliver. But anyways, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts on the Simpsons movie, or the Simpsons 2 is what they're calling it. What you think about it, how successful will it be, and are you looking forward to it? So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the show today. I want to thank my guest, CJ Shaman, for coming out. Thank you guys for listening as always. If you like the episode, give us a nice little rating. It always helps the podcast grow and continue to do, soar to new altitudes. And so get your tickets for Fractured Festivities, guys. Anybody who's listening locally, if you're not local, come on down anyway. Book a flight down. But thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode. But until then, this is Franky signing off. Cheers, everybody.